Hey everyone, and welcome back. In the last video, we went through a quick overview, some settings, and a fast overclocking in MSI Afterburner. In the second part, we will go more into some details, such overclocking, also undervolt while overclocking, which will allow us to almost have the same performance, but dramatically reduce the temps and power consumption. So, let's start with the second part. So guys, for going through the undervolt settings and also overclock settings, we need a couple of tools more. One of them is the Heaven benchmark. I will leave the link in the description down below. And the other one is the GPU-Z, which is a tool that can allow us to get together all the infos from our graphic card. So you can download it and install it. I have already downloaded and installed them. Once you open the Heaven benchmark, I suggest you guys to select the extreme preset, which is going to stress test heavily the graphic cards. And this is what we want because we want to be sure that it's going to be stable with all the settings we are going to change. Let's bring up also MSI Afterburner. Let's go quickly to check some of the sensors of the GPU-Z. Here we have the GPU clock, the actual GPU clock, the actual memory clock, the actual temperature, the actual clock temperature, the hotspot, which is the most hot spot of the graphic card. This is the memory temperature, and this is the fan speeds and everything, just simple. And here we have also how much wattage the graphic card is drawing at the moment. So let's start the benchmark and check how much core clock the graphic card can reach, how millivolts is going to use, and how much is going to be the temperature. Let's click just to run, then benchmark. Okay guys, the benchmark is finished, so we have some results. Let's write down them. So let's start with the GPU clock. We have reaching a maximum, let's click here. We have been reaching a maximum on 120 megahertz with a maximum temperature of 72. And the total power draw it was almost 300. And let's check also the voltage, which we have a maximum 1.068. Let's say 1068 millivolts. It's more easier. And we have a score of 56.756. Okay, so these are the results with the stock settings. So let's go and undervolt the graphic card. Let's close everything here. Before starting undervolt, we have to let cool down the graphic card at least 10 minutes or 50 minutes after this benchmark. Okay guys, we have cooled down our graphic card, and we will go through the process of the undervolting and overclocking also. For doing that, there are different ways. Usually I prefer to use the core clock curve. You can bring it up or clicking here or typing Ctrl F on your keyboard while MSI Afterburner is open. So we know that at 1.068 volts our graphic card is reaching 1920 megahertz or 1935 megahertz. It depends on the temperature because everything is related to the temperature. So what we want to do is using less voltage, which means less watts and also less temperature, of course. What I've been noticing with the RTX 30 series graphic cards is that they tend to use 0.100 millivolts more than usually should use. So let's say in this, let's make this example, we have 1.068 millivolts and we're going to use 0.968 millivolts, aiming to reach the same core clock megahertz. So let's go here and find, okay, this is okay. So here we have 0.987 millivolts at 18 and 45 megahertz. So what we have to do here and select this point here and drag it up to 120. Let's go, which is safe in this case. Okay, you can use even the arrows up and down of the keyboard. Okay, so we don't want the graphic card to reach more than this millivolts, so we have to press shift on the keyboard, left button on the mouse, select all these points, click on one of them and bring it down. Once we have done this, click apply here, and the graphic card will use only 0.987 millivolts at this core clock. So let's run quickly again the benchmark and check how much we are going to get in terms of performance, temperature and core clock usage. Okay guys, so here we have the benchmark finished with so let's go again and check some of the settings here. We have reached the same, basically the same core clock speed. So, and we have an average temperature of 68, an average of 270 watts, and the score is 5609. Okay, so basically we have almost 5 degrees less, almost 30 watts less with 100 millivolts less, and basically the score is the same. As we can see, we can undervolt the graphic card and basically aiming to the same result as the stock settings. But guys, keep in mind that this is a normal benchmark, so you have to test all these settings with all your games, with all your applications, video editing if you have any, in order to be sure that everything is working properly. If you see any artifacts or if your system crashes, you can just go back here and reset all the settings. Now we have all these settings here and we want to save it, so just click on this icon here, select one of these numbers. I will select number 5 here, and that's it. If you notice some artifacts in your games or if your game is crashing, you can just go back here, click to this button here, and it will reset all the settings at default, and you can start over again by modifying the curve here, and maybe you can choose another voltage here that might not be crashing your games or your applications. One important thing is the fan speed curve, that I leave it on default, but it depends on your graphic card, it depends on your temperature, you might need to change it. So if you want to change it, just click on one of these dots here. By the way, you can add up to 8 different dots here, which honestly I don't recommend. Maybe 4 of them, it's okay. So you can click on one of these dots and you can select and you can move it whatever you want. Let's say, for example, when the graphic card is reaching 60 degrees, you want the fan to spin at 50%, maybe half of the speed. So you can drag and drop like so, apply, and that's it. Personally, I don't use the default fan speed curve because my graphic card have some strange noises on the fan. So I usually go from 0 to 50 degrees stable at 45% fan speed. Then the next point, the next dot, let's say, is 70 degrees up to 60%. And the next one is 80 degrees up to 70%. Which I never have seen my graphic card reaching more than 83 or 82 degrees, honestly, with this fan curve. Apply, and then okay. So that's it for this video, guys. We went through a really simple, easy undervolting the graphic card while aiming and reaching the same results and even the same benchmark results also, and even the same core clocks, but we reduce the temperature at least at 5 degrees in my case, but in your case might be even more or even less. It depends on your case, it depends on your graphic card, it depends on the fans that you have on your case. So in my opinion, the undervolting while overclocking, let me say, is the way to go, because you are going to have less temperature, less consumption in terms of watts, and basically you are going to reach the same result. So guys, let me know in the comments down below if you are using the MSI Afterburner and what are your results, and if you are undervolting the graphic card or just simply leaving default as it is. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.